Okay, so this is going to be video 4 or part 4 of our hot rod build. First of all, I want to apologize to those who subscribe to my videos. I know I've been a little slow lately, but I am healing from an injury that I sort of got at work, and hopefully things will start to pick up pretty quickly. Anyway, back to this area. As we discussed last time, I put the pedal in. The last time I pushed it around, it was kind of squeaky a little bit. Since then I've taken it all out, sandblasted and painted it and lubricated it, and as you can see, things are a whole lot better in terms of noise. I've also put this bracket in. If you look at the previous video, you'll see that this was not in. The intent for that is to hold the column securely, keep engine noise and gases out of the compartment, the cab. Now let's go to the top and you can see what I've done. Let me get the light going here so we get some more light on the job. As you can see, I've changed the dashboard a little bit. First of all, you can see that the column has now been painted, and I've gone and changed the dashboard a little bit. For those of you that own L110s, you know that you've got these two big holes that hold your instruments. What I did was I filled those holes up. I cut little circles out of metal plate of the same thickness as the dashboard itself, welded them in with the MIG, ground it down, and then recut new holes for my instruments. And if you can see back here, we've got a whole whack load of instruments. I'll go to the other side and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So give me a second. Let's move over to the other side. And you can sort of see the instruments all lined up. So rather than having all, you know, the temperature and the voltage and everything in one big instrument cluster, we've got them spread across the dashboard. I've removed the ashtray because, let's face it, not too many people find ashtrays in cars today. The radio is still there, and I'll cut that out at the time when the radio goes in. I have pulled vinyl over the dashboard, which actually looks pretty good. I'm going to paint this area in the same red that I've now painted the truck. Now let's go back to the other side for a second. And this is the Camaro column, which is actually adjustable, as you can see, and I've got to work with one hand right now. I did change the color of the cab. Now I know that the quartz doesn't give the proper color, but it's actually it's a brilliant red, and I'm very happy with the red I'm using now. I won't speak too loud because it's a Japanese color. It's actually a Honda red that I've used, and it's awesome. The other thing I've done is I've put my gear shifter, which is an automatic Hurst shifter, and it too looks really good. I'm very, very happy with that. Now let's go back to the engine compartment and I'll show you what I've done. The last time I showed you the vacuum assist, I used the old one as a mock-up, but now as you can see we've got the new one in place, and it too fits really nicely. I haven't put the brake lines on yet because I've got a few things to do with the motor itself, and I want as much space as I can right now. I'm going to have to put my own headers in, is what it amounts to, only because I'm having difficulty finding headers that'll work with this motor and slide in between the Camaro rails. We've looked into a whack load of things and it doesn't seem to want to work for us, so we might just have to build our own headers. Not too difficult. I have again a friend in the muffler business who has given me hints and tips and actually a few tools to do that, and we'll get to that sometime in the near future. And until then, let's go into other things. I've taken the wheel well, which is this wheel well here, which comes off the old truck, and I've had to cut it to work with the independent suspension. So basically I cut the profile and then bent it, creating a lip underneath there, just to give this more rigidity so that it's not going to vibrate in the wind when going down the road. The other thing I've done is I'm in the process of putting a radiator in. Again, this rad is not the rad I'm using, it's just basically a mock-up. This is the size that I want to use, and I'll tell you why I say that. In my very first video, you'll find that I talk about another L110 I have, The other L110 also has a 350 Chev motor in that I put in years ago. And what I did was I used the original rad. I had it record and I put that in. And I've had nothing but trouble with that rad actually. It's a huge radiator and I don't know why. Perhaps the reason being that it is an electric fan, I'm not sure. Anyway, with this particular project I opted to using a heavy-duty Chev radiator. This particular one comes out of a 1 ton. It's a 4-core rad. And let's face it, it's going to have to keep this motor pretty cool. This is just a mock-up. Again, I haven't been able to do too much with my injury. My son will put the bring the welder into the shop tomorrow, and then I can go and prefab and put that in place. Once that's pretty much in place, I'll put the headers on, and then hopefully we can hear the motor run pretty soon. Now let's go to the other side. Let's go to the back for a minute, and I'll show you what I have done. As you can see, we went into some heavy discussion the last video about the drive shaft. Well, guess what? The drive shaft now is in place, bolted in, and it's absolutely perfect. In my first video to you, I think I discussed, the fact that this truck came to me missing a lot of pieces and a lot of parts. One of the things it was missing was the gas tank, and believe it or not, I've looked high and low to try and find a gas tank that would fit in the appropriate place, or the place that was designed, and I could never find anything to fit properly. I even considered putting the tank behind the back seats. I even considered putting a tank in the box, but that would just screw up things, and you wouldn't be able to see the wood in the box, and you'd lose space. Knowing that this particular motor that I've got in here right now, this LS, is going to produce over 300 horse, and knowing that the original motor produced only 90 horsepower, I decided to put a tank right in the back of the truck. This way, any bit of weight would help me. Would help me to sort of transfer that horsepower down to the road. It's not my intention to race this thing at the track in any way. It's just that there's going to be a lot more power than this truck was ever designed to have. And it's really light. It's a short box. It's going to be very, very light. And I've also noticed that just a bit of weight can make a huge difference, especially with a pickup like this. So this tank comes out of a Ford, actually, I was told a Ford 150. I have to do a pressure test on the tank because it's got to pump up to 55 to 62 psi in pressure to make that LS1 motor run. So if it doesn't do that, I'm going to have to look at an Edelbrock pump, which I will then mount on the frame to build up that pressure. But I'm hoping, and it should, because this tank, you can quite clearly see, comes out of a truck or a vehicle that used to have a fuel injected system. And now that we have a fuel injected system here, this tank should work really well. I've built my own framework on this tank. As you can see, this is all made up by me to accommodate the tank. Okay, I think that's going to be it for now. Let me check the light on this, and hopefully it's clear, and let's hope things work for the video. Oh, by the way, I'm not a body man, and I can do okay work, even giving me a lot of time, but for this particular project I wanted nothing but the best, so I hired a professional to do my body work. And as you can see, if you look very carefully, he's done some beautiful work here, taking out the dings and the dents, using very little Bondi. I'm really impressed with the guy. And it won't be long now, I hope, before we actually take it into the booth that my friend has in town and get it painted. As you can see, he's done the fenders. This one's just been done. I'll prime that next weekend, and they look really good compared to what they looked like when they came. Truly, he's done some beautiful work. Okay guys, I'm not going to hold you any longer. Thanks again, and hopefully the next video will be a little faster than the one that you've seen today. Take care guys. Bye bye.